Hello, I'm Scott Hamilton, ROCKFILE, with another podcast movie review for you. This is a bit of an older movie. Episode 10 of my podcast is a review of Triangle. This movie came out in 2009 in the UK, didn't get a theatrical release here in the US, and it hit Blu-ray in 2010. I have literally had this movie in my wish list for years, but it's another one of those movies that I was looking at over the weekend that keeps popping up in those one of the top 10 movies you've never seen that you need to see kind of things. And since I knew it was in my wish list, I moved it up to the top. So it's a British-Australian co-production directed by Christopher Smith. He's directed movies like Creep, Severance, Black Death, and most recently Detour. It stars Melissa George. She was in Dark City and Mulholland Drive. Michael Dorman, who is in Daybreakers. And, of course, Liam Hemsworth, a young Liam Hemsworth. He's the little brother of Luke and Chris Hemsworth. He was in Hunger Games, the second ID4 movie, Resurgence, and he did a really good job at the movie, too. It had a $12 million budget. It's currently 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Empire Magazine really liked it, and I thought I'd give it a shot, and I really enjoyed it. Not exactly a horror movie. You will find it in the horror categories in most streaming services. It's more of a psychological thriller with some horror tendencies, and it is a bit bloody in places. I read up on the director. He wanted to make a movie kind of dealing with deja vu, but wanted to stay away from the things that were in previous movies like Jacob's Ladder. So, not to get into any spoilers, but a group of people go out sailing from Florida and run into a freak storm, capsized, and then along comes a big cruise ship that they get on board and strange things start happening. Being in Florida and the Caribbean for the last almost 20 years of my life, I was very interested in this let's go sailing near the Bermuda Triangle. It doesn't really say it takes place in the Bermuda Triangle, but the movie is called Triangle. And some of the things that happen on board, at first it seems pretty normal, other than the fact there's not anybody on board. But then things start to twist and turn, and then they twist and turn some more, and it's a movie that will keep you guessing all the way to the end. Probably winds up in the horror category because, well, like I said, it's a little bloody in places, and the ending, well, not a downbeat ending, it's not an upbeat ending either. It makes sense in the mythology and context of the movie. So if you're interested in to see something where a small group of people, I think there's 6 people on the boat, deal with a storm and getting picked up by this strange cruise ship and the things that go on board kind of being chased by somebody, you'll probably really enjoy it. It was not too long, actually. It was fairly short and quite entertaining. A poignant end, I would even say, because once you realize everything that's gone on, you'll be like, oh, then the beginning of the movie I get the whole picture now. But so, yeah, and since you can rent it for free on Amazon Prime, it's available on some of the other streaming services, I would recommend Triangle. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5, maybe a little higher. Could have used a little more oomph. I don't know. I mean, they used their budget well. They didn't use any green screens. They built real sets. It looked like it was on a real ship. They were really in the water. They were really on the water. You know, I mean, it definitely wasn't like some of the low-budget stuff you see on cable. This was a really well-filmed, well-acted, strange psychological thriller. Triangle. It's available now. It's actually about 10 years old, so if you haven't seen it, hey, it was news to me as well. Check out Triangle on streaming services, and thank you very much for enjoying another podcast with me. This was episode 10. I've got some top 10 lists coming on later in the week. I also need to do some music reviews. I've kind of leaned heavily into movie reviews here at the beginning. But you can get all this linked up, all the links to all my other sites on my site, therockfile.com. If you found this on Podbean, because that's usually the link I post, you can also find my podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and other services. Please, if I'm not on a service that you regularly use for podcasts, let me know, and I will make sure my podcasts get added there. We're almost up to 300 downloads in less than 10 days. thank you very much for your support. And let me know if there's like a movie or an album you would like me to review or something you'd like me to talk about. I'm going to be getting into some other things with this podcast. This is only the beginning. So I'm Scott Hamilton, ROCKFILE. Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next one.